Hey there, it's Linda Perry of Soul Genius Branding, and welcome to this week's 15 Minutes to Genius. So this week, I want to talk about getting uncomfortable. And maybe the topic of getting uncomfortable and pushing yourselves out of your comfort zones is going to make you a little nervous, but I really wanted to talk about this because if you want 2019 to be different, then it requires showing up differently. So many of us live in our nice little bubbles and we get used to doing things a certain way. And so if we're going to find success, though, it means pushing our comfort zone, stepping out, and maybe being seen a little differently. So last year, one of the things that I did was taking 15 Minutes to Genius and putting it out on video. And at first, I kept feeling like, ick, uncomfortable, who wants to see me? But the reality is it's been a fun way for me to share with my audience, and it's really a quick way to interact and for people to get to know me. So that was a little bit of a push, and it's really helped me feel more connected with my audience, and it really is, pushing me to the next step and allowing me to grow in bigger ways, doing interviews, doing podcasts, all those kinds of things. So how do you get comfortable, though, with being uncomfortable? So one of the things that I often talk about is making fear your friend. If you are a little afraid or resistant or say, no way, I don't want to do that, that's the place you should go. And doing it one step at a time is really important so that you don't overwhelm yourself. So I just finished an interview with one of the coaches that I work with on a side project called Atlas Coaches. And she said, I've been preparing all week. And she came off as such a pro on camera, and she was really wonderful. And this is a new way for her to push herself and step into something that she's kind of excited about, but might not have done otherwise. And whatever it is for you, getting comfortable with yourself, whether it's practicing, whether it's rehearsing, the whole point is, and I'm just using video as an example, but again, it's creating small steps. It's outlining them. It's not like throwing yourself into the fire. But it's also remembering that your new ceiling is about to become your new floor. Once we've mastered something, once we stepped outside of our comfort zone, it allows us to see something entirely different. We can see a bigger picture. We can see, maybe horizons that we never thought. And whatever you were scared about once is now something that you can use as your foundation. So I want you to think about this week one thing that scares you. Identify whether it's maybe writing a blog, maybe it's calling up somebody and asking them for help, or maybe it's really, showing up on a podcast or doing a podcast pitch. I know those have made me uncomfortable because, God, all of us hate rejection. But the idea is step into something that's really uncomfortable and write it down and make simple goals. Really give yourselves 3 steps. I'm going to do this first, I'm going to do that next, and then I'm going to do this last and launch. And so really give yourself no out. Again, last week I talked about having an accountability partner. Tell someone, because the sooner you tell someone, the more likely you are to do it, because for some reason we sort of feel obligated when that happens. So really take those steps, is write down 3 steps. How are you going to get there? And really take just step 1 on day 1, step 2 on day 3. Maybe it takes you a couple days to do those steps, but by the end of the week, I want you to do one thing that's super uncomfortable, because I promise if you want 2019 to be different, all it takes is one little step. So I want to hear it. What is your thing that you're going to do this week that is really going to push you out of your comfort zone, that is going to make 2019 totally different? Share with me below. I can't wait to hear all about it. And if this is your first time joining us for 15 Minutes to Genius, 15 Minutes to Genius are simple steps that I record via video to help you grow your business one step at a time. The principles are based on the book that I love, Slight Edge. I tell everyone to read it. But basically the idea is if we're not stepping forward in our business, we are actually moving back even by standing still. So taking little steps at a time is really going to make a huge difference. Who knows where you are going to be a year from now if you follow just these little steps. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you again next week, and have a great week and push yourselves a little bit further this week. Have a good one.